Welcome again to Reflections and to Canon Andrew White. Difficult subject today, Andrew,
From
because,
ashes we have come, and from ashes we shall go.
oh, that's doom and gloom. I thought you were in a good mood this morning.
Blessed be the name of the Lord. Well, today I think is a good mood day because we're looking at Lent and Ramadan, and for the first time ever, they coincide exactly. Ramadan starts today and Lent starts today with Ash Wednesday.
Well, you wouldn't know that if you lived in the centre of London because the Mayor of London, of course, has put up lots of Ramadan festive lights. Nobody's put up any Ash Wednesday lights.
Well, maybe he should know that this is a time of not just fasting, but mourning for the Christian community. Because Lent isn't just about fasting, it's mourning about the evil which the Holy One endured and the evil that many Christians are enduring. Because as we look around the world today, the persecution of the church, the persecution of Christians internationally is the worst it's ever been.
Well, numerically, it's perfectly true. We're in a terrible state. Perhaps we should thank Donald Trump. At least he's trying to do something about it. The Western leaders in Europe are doing nothing.
It's very interesting because so much of the persecution of the Christians around the world is no longer happening in the likely places like the Middle East. It's not just the Middle East. Asia is now the dominant place where persecution is happening. We think of the Asian Republic of India, where the persecution is at the hands of the Hindu nationalists, not the Muslims. And we look at the rise of persecution in so many of the Asian countries. And yet we see that fasting is considered to be something of great worth in both the Christian and Islamic traditions. I'm not saying that I think that the Muslims are correct by having their time of fasting, but their time of fasting is a time to commit more to God and to be grateful to Him for what He has done and what He's going to do. And there are similarities, therefore, in the Christian attitude to fasting is to give up so that we may become more like Jesus. It starts for us from the time of Jesus going away in preparation for his ministry for his 40 days in the wilderness. And each of us is, as it were, taken off for our 40 days in the wilderness. But 40 days' time, we have what we say in Aramaic, the language of Jesus, Messiah come, Messiah come. He is risen, he's risen, he is risen indeed. So we are 40 days away from resurrection glory.
When we think of the situation and the collision this year between Ramadan and Lent. There are various theories on this and various people expressing their own opinion. And you, over many years, have had to deal with many Islamic situations in the Middle East. Now, should we be paying attention to the present situation, maybe in Gaza as an example, maybe in Iran as another example, whereby the Muslims are creating havoc, and indeed in other countries around the world. And these are extremists. But how do we deal, or should we be dealing with the non-extremist Muslims? Is there such an animal as that?
Yes, there certainly is. And most of the Muslims I deal with, I have dealt predominantly with the Shia community, those which are considered often to be the most extreme and most evil. And yet, if we look at the world today, we have got an incredible number of supernatural encounters of Jesus, often seen as the man in white. And both in Iran, in other places in the Middle East, and in Asia, we're seeing these visitations. I have video after video sent to me of people who are saying, we are seeing Jesus. In all my years in Iraq, considered possibly historically the most extreme of the Islamic groups, because this was where Ali, the son-in-law of Muhammad, first arrived in Najaf. And there's also this great expectation of waiting for the coming of the Mahdi. The Mahdi is basically like an Islamic Messiah, and not many people know there is this figure. But once again, this figure is seen as having Jesus-like entities as well. And I have loved my time in the Islamic world. I haven't, yes, I've been kidnapped, I've been taken as a hostage, but apart from that, I would say I've been loved, and loved by the Muslim community. And I have even had Muslims coming and praying around our compound. We had a huge compound. We had a hospital, a clinic, all happening where we lived. And we saw incredible things happening. My own health was greatly helped by one of the Muslim doctors who set up an autologous stem cell unit to start treating me with my own stem cells. And it gave me 7 years of my life back, even able to walk then. Now I can't do much at all. But the thing I can do is deal with God and talk to my wide Christian and Jewish and Muslim community that I engage with over the internet. So I do not feel alone. I feel that I'm all over the world.
For those people that say it's extraordinarily difficult to deal with this situation. We don't worship the same God. Their God is not our God.
Exactly. I worship the one and only God revealed through Jesus Christ our Lord. I'm not one of these people who believes in a Christianized Islam. And there are people who feel that there's a Christian Islam. No, there isn't a Christian Islam. Just as the Muslims wouldn't say there was an Islamic form of following Muhammad with Christian influences. No, we believe supernaturally in Jesus. And in all the years I was in Iraq, and I spent 19 years there altogether, never once did I go on evangelistic crusades because I never needed to. All the people who converted because they had met with Jesus, and they had met him through the worshipping Christian community that they could see were the followers of God, and they had met him through the supernatural image time and time again of the man in white.
Andrew, there's still this divide because if you go from Islam to Christianity, you're on the hit list, aren't you?
You are, according to some Muslim extremists, you're on the hit list. And to others, no. But once again, all comes down to relationship. And relationship is at the very core of our own understanding of our own faith. And what Lent is all about, Jesus coming down from the mountain and relating to the people. And so we go up into the mountain to become closer to God and to not think about earthly things, and then down to begin doing the real work of God. And Ramadan, to many Muslims, is like that. They withdraw from all the natural things of the world to just concentrate on the blessings of being with God. And you can see lots of positive things about Ramadan. Certainly, whilst in Iraq, I always kept Ramadan. Where we were, if you didn't keep it, you were not in a good way, because everybody did. And so the strange thing is, amongst Muslims, Ramadan is their time of greatest feasting in the year. But they can't eat in daylight or even drink. And so it's all from dusk. Once the sun goes down, the Eid parties begin every day. And the people in the Islamic shops used to always say that Ramadan was their busiest time of the year for selling food.
Christmas Day every day regarding the food, Andrew. When does it finish, Ramadan?
Ramadan is for a whole month, and so it's shorter than Lent.
Not many people are participating in Lent compared with Ramadan.
No,
And
because there it is one of the pillars of Islam and one of the essentials and one of the musts they have to. But Lent is really seen exclusively Catholic and Orthodox churches and the more traditional Christian denominations. I lived this strange life which varies between the radical Pentecostal charismatic life of Bethel and the conservative, more conservative life of the Anglicans and the Orthodox, the Syrian Orthodox in particular. And amongst them, their Easter is about 2 weeks after ours. So it goes on. For me, I get a double Easter and a double Lent.
what do you recommend, finally, from the Christian point of view, that we should give up?
I think we should take up. I'm far more into what we should take up in Lent. And what we should take up is every opportunity to have a more intimate relationship with God, getting up earlier, praying more fervently, of seeking God's face. And a big thing I love doing at Lent is loving our enemies. Find those who are really difficult in your life. And most of those tend to be in your family, and be lovely to them. So let's do some taking up in this Lent. It's not just about giving up chocolate and meat, it's about taking up loving.
Andrew, thank you so much.